Hey guys, and welcome to the third episode of Walking Through Real Solves. Today's episode, we're going to be looking at 5 solves that I thought had interesting algorithm execution, and I'll be showcasing that along with just whatever happened in the rest of the solve. So let's get started. Alright, for this first solve, I did a white cross. We have edges here, 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 and here. Noticing that these three are all with their opposite centers, like so. And then this one's just with its white center, so we can quickly put it to the opposite. So that's more or less what I did. My first pair was these two, and this kind of just does like a U2 and ends up here after everything. So to solve the cross, I did D to put that in the back, L, put that next to it, and sort of like a U2 white L to get these two into place. And as I said, this puts this pair over here like a U2 away. So I then did a D2, then I did this pair, noticing this pair next. So solving these two like that, and then these two right here, split them up, and then insert. And then I guess I saw this pair, and the way I solved it was I kind of did like a Y, UY thing, and I did it in the back. Which, I mean, I guess worked out because I probably would have just done a Y2 for this pair anyways, but still kind of weird placement of the rotation. So then I just solved this pair like that. And then here we have this OLL. And to do OLL CP, I could have just done that. I'm not really sure why I decided to do that, but instead I did this other OLL algorithm that I sometimes use, starting with like a thumb on the back. And then pretty normal stuff for the rest. And then I had A-perm from this angle, so I executed it relatively normally like so. And then to do AOF, I kind of just pushed my hand while it was like back here, like that. So yeah, that was the 7. Alright, for the second solve in this video, I did a red cross. Noticing these two are pretty close to being in correct relation, as is this edge, because you can just kind of do that, which also sets up this edge in the back. So that's how I did the cross, and then my first pair was these two. And I could have been a little smarter after this point because I could have made my EO a little bit better, because I ended up actually getting a dot OLL at the end of the solve, but regardless, this is what I did. So I did that edge, and then these two like that, and then a D. And then to set up this pair, I could have done it like this to correctly flip this edge here. But I wasn't really thinking about that, and I guess it's not the worst thing that I didn't, because after the first pair in a solve, it doesn't really mean anything, because you still have 3 pairs to make, and you notice like these 2 edges are flipped, so you know, it wouldn't have necessarily meant anything if I did that, plus I maybe would have given myself bad pairs. So I did the simple thing, I set them up, rotated, inserted. And I did this pair in the back next. I didn't really pay attention to these two. So I sledged these to set them up, and then put them in the back. And then at this point, there's a free pair here, and then for some reason I didn't do it because I guess I just noticed these two instead. So I solved this pair, and I double sexied these in. And then here I had this OLL, and then I managed to not mess up the finger trick in the solve from what I remember, so starts like that. Left index the sledge, U2, left index the sledge. So that's what it looks like quick. And then here I noticed I had L-perm and I had this opposite stuff here, meaning if I rotated I would have gotten an AOF skip, which is nice for that PLL because after doing the ALG, your hands are like here, so AOFing's kind of dodgy. So yeah, that was the second 7. Solve number 3, this one I did a yellow X cross, noting, you know, this corner solved, these 2 opposite edges solved, and then the other 2 are like oriented in the U layer, so just double turns to put them in. So I started by putting this blue edge here next to the red, and I keyholed this edge in here, so that when I did the D move, this pair would be solved. And then all I had to do was insert this cross edge, and I also noticed this pair would be a 3 move F12 pair after doing so. So I did that, and I went straight into solving these two. After that I saw these two, so I rotated and solved them like this, and then my last pair was just this, so I just flipped them off and put them in. And then I had this Euler, which I execute like so. And again, kind of just using the left index, so R prime, U prime, sledge twice, UR. And then I had R prime, and I think I locked up a bit. So the second half of that last layer wasn't very good execution, but the first half was pretty good. Alright, solve number 4 and the first 6 of this video. I did blue cross, these two edges are solved, and then these two edges are here, so kind of looks weird, but it's a 4-move cross, so it works out. And then I believe my first pair was this edge and this corner. So I started by doing a D prime R2 to solve, you know, like this edge over here. But I did D prime R, focus camera. Yeah, I did D prime R2 because that also swings out this edge and puts it in the back there. So yeah, and then this comes up as well. So D prime R2, and then a B prime D to finish, like so. And then I had this as my first pair, like that. This is my second pair, going in the back left slot. Do that to pair, that to insert. Then I noticed these two. And then if I noticed this pair as well, then I could have probably done something like that and then had the pair out, which would have been a little better, but you know, this works as well because it's just 2-gen spam. And then this last pair, I did this to orient my edges, like so, and then just put the pair in. And then here I do actually know this ZBLL technically. I just kind of don't really check Soons at the moment because I don't know much Soon ZB. So I just did back Soon like that, and then a pretty nice T-perm U, where I did the last U move with my thumb like that. But I'll also just show the ZBLL anyways because it's good to do that. So you basically have like this block here, then this COLL, opposites. So yeah, that's what the ZB looks like, and that's what I should have done, but nonetheless, I still, you know, executed the last layer pretty well. And now, speaking of T-perm plus AUF finger tricks, we have solve number 5. So for this solve, I had a 3-move blue cross that I missed in inspection because I'm good. And it actually cancels into the first pair, god damn it, whatever. Alright, so I did yellow cross because I'm a dum-dum. So we have this edge here lined up, this one's over here, and then this one's with its opposite center. So the way I did it, oh yeah, my first pair was this and this. So I tracked out where those were going to end up, so I did D to solve this with the opposite center, because this one's with the opposite and this one nearly is. And like an L, F prime, wide L kind of thing to solve these all here. And then this edge is up on the top, and I knew this pair would end up here, so I just did U, L2, D2 to finish. And then this is my first pair, like so. Which is kind of an interesting trick, but I feel like it's pretty known by this point. So this corner going here and that edge, like that. Then my next pair was these two, I Y2'd to execute them. And then as I was doing that, I probably noted this free pair here, because I did those next in the back. And then I had this pair left, and I could just set up a VLS with it really quick by doing that. And in this case, you see we have like a pair here and a pair here, and then these two flipped edges and a oriented corner up there. So to do this, you put pair over its slot, you do an M, insert the pair, and then fix the cross edge in the back. So quickly it looks like that. And then here I had T-perm U2, and then my finger trick for this, which I feel like is pretty unique, is like that. Okay, I can't do it very well now, but that's the finger trick, and that's it for this episode. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.